fishermen and support personnel lost to our community. Brian Richard Young, fishing vessel, Heritage.
Give it up for Sawyer. Excellent work. And let the games begin. The 2013 Brian Young Invitational is underway.
I came to Kodiak first as an athlete. Then, 2 years later, I was returning as a filmmaker. I was invited back to tell the story of how a little, isolated fishing town had come together to put on an all-star statewide track meet, and understand how the memory of one man had inspired an entire community.
The whole inspiration for putting on the meet came from, he said, if you're going to do something, do it right. You know, I was building the shelves in my garage, and he's like, wait a second, you're going to do this, do it right. And so he shows me how to do it even better. And so, you know, when he passed away, I said, well, you know, I don't know much about building shelves in the garage, but I know things about track. And so if I'm going to do a meet in his memory, I better do it right.
Doing it right, in this case, meant bringing together 95 of the best high school athletes in the state, some who had traveled nearly 2,000 miles, for 2 days of competition on Kodiak's track. Kodiak pulled it off. 50 volunteers, local donations, and 27 schools all came together to put on one of the year's fastest meets, resulting in 63 personal bests, 13 school records, 11 all-time top 10 marks, and 1 Alaskan all-time state best.
The results were fantastic. Many of the best times of the year for Alaska kids.
The meet brought together the best team competition in the state, but for the athletes, it was all about a second chance to set new personal records.
There's few people that bring together the training and the natural talent and the desire to be the very best, but the goal here with our kids is for every kid to look to say, what goal can you set for yourself to beat your personal best, so that everyone can be trying to achieve something.
With the PR in nearly every event, Brian's meet definitely hit its mark. But this was not the first time Brian had helped track stars meet. and exceed their expectations.
His idea was to go big and really get the most out of yourself. Go all in.
Brian's encouragement through the years of Trevor's hard work and dedication helped him set his goals high and achieve them again and again and again, but Brian was not a coach. He was a believer. And on race day, having someone who believes in you can make all the difference.
Traveling and kind of staying together, these top athletes from around the state really got to know each other. And when they come back together in the fall and they're racing each other in cross country or next spring in track, they'll go, oh yeah, I know this girl from Ketchikan, or this kid from Fairbanks was on my relay team together. And so a lot of good things that way in terms of the friendship that was formed at this meet. And I think Brian was big into that, because no one made more friends than Brian Young. He was a big friend guy and meeting people everywhere he went.
I went with him and stopped in Nunivak Island, and we stopped in this little podink, little tiny village on the south end of the Lake Iliamna there. And we were only there for maybe 45 minutes or so. We had to pick up a guide. But by the time we left, got it back on the boat, he knew everybody that lived in that village. He knew everybody. They probably would have elected a mayor if we would have been there another half an hour. With Brian, it was like there weren't any, what was the saying? There's no strangers in the world. There's just friends he hadn't met yet.
It seemed like everybody in the island personally knew Brian. But above all their stories of fishing and adventures, they knew him as a dad who would go above and beyond to be there for kids when they needed it.
I would have said it was impossible to do what he did, because at the same time with all these meets, he's also running a fishing business where he's out longlining. Most people would factor in weather. Brian would fish through that weather, and his motivation, I assumed, was so he wouldn't be late to watch his kids run in a track meet in Wasilla.
Track, swimming, I mean, he didn't miss a meet.
After cashing fish checks, Brian was known to motorcycle hundreds of miles just to make it to a meet and show support. He embodied the respect for athletes that's embedded in Kodiak's community.
I think it's kind of tradition. We just take care of athletes because it is an island and we know what it takes to get here. It's just the way things are done here.
Brian was part of Kodiak's athletic and fishing community, living the same lifestyle as many of the athletes that he supported on the track.
Well, a lot of these kids grew up in fishing families. I'm not sure how many of the cross-country team was made up of fishermen. But probably about half of them, I would guess. When you're a commercial fisherman, you have to put up with a lot of, well, you're uncomfortable a lot. It's long hours, manual labor. You go without eating for a long time. Just, it can be kind of punishing. There's a certain inner strength that you have to tap into. So if you grew up with that being the norm, I think that you can maybe run a little harder, know that you can push a little bit harder. And I think that's where a lot of these kids got that strength from.
Most Alaskan high schools, including Kodiak, have to overcome the challenges of their environment in order to train.
They don't realize the environments and the conditions that we are competing in. We're season's over before it hardly even gets started, it seems like. But we don't cancel meets because of bad weather. It's another opportunity to get out and compete and get better.
You know, sunny and 50, and then the next minute, you know, it's pouring down rain and then sideways hailing.
Yeah, I mean, we take good weather when we get it, and we enjoy it as much as anybody, maybe more than most, because we don't get it that often. But we don't mind running in the rain, so used to this. This is what we train in all the time.
The track was not made for Alaska, but despite the cold, the darkness, the lack of facilities and sparse population, young athletes continue to put their heart and soul into this sport. And I think that's what Brian saw. This meet is not just about the times or recognition, it's about the kids.
That's kind of why Marcus kind of talked to me about this meet, because Brian was always about everybody getting a second chance no matter what you had done. Whether it was just in live fishing, but mostly for kids.
There's a lot of good kids coming up. There's ones from the past, ones in the future, and we just need to keep giving them more opportunities to achieve their potentials.
There's been so many track meets that I've run. Each one is part of the process, which is made me into the person I am today.
That's why they're where they are in terms of success, because they don't ever give up. They enjoy the process.
Plus, like I said, the kids are just tough here. They're tough.
Everybody should know that, you know, even though we're an island kind of out in the middle of nowhere, we're all really good people, so, you know.
Not everybody's family, but it feels like family. You know, look at all Pip has done for us to help with this. Marcus, you know, all these people that are just still think that, you know, it's almost like he's still around.
Kelly was right. Although I never got a chance to meet Brian, I could feel his presence throughout the entire meet. He was there when his friends opened up their homes to house athletes, or when kids from different schools, thousands of miles apart, cheered each other on. And he was there at the finish line, with each new personal record. Without ever meeting me, he showed me to appreciate every opportunity I get, because we don't always get a second chance. And if you're gonna do something, do it right. This is how one man's memory can inspire a community. How it can bring together athletes and make the laps on a track go by just a little faster. This is the effect of remembering someone who focused on the things that really matter. Friends, family, and appreciating every single day.
Can't believe how beautiful this is and how fortunate I am here to be here. So it's just unbelievable.